Hey everyone, it's David out here in Korea on week 24. It's hard to believe 24 weeks has already expired, but this week started off kind of hazy and kind of overcast, and I could tell because my allergies were really acting up, and you can always tell when it's going to be a bad day just by the way you feel in the morning whenever you wake up. So it was a good day to stay indoors and try to cook something. So I decided I had a bunch of produce that I've been buying that I just haven't been using. So I was determined to use up whatever I had. So I had a bunch of carrots, and if you notice, the carrots are huge. There's no such thing as small carrots out here. They only have jumbo size ones, but works for me because more for me. But so I decided to take these, and I was going to air fry them. And so to do that, I put a little olive oil on them and then sprinkled some salt and a little bit of pepper on them as well. And then I remembered I had some lotus root in the fridge that I hadn't used. And lotus root is really good, especially if you air fry it. It gets a different texture and consistency and flavor altogether out of it. And plus it just looks really, really cool. So I ended up putting a little bit of sesame oil in there and then mixed it all together and decided, like I said, air fry it. And one important thing to do with air fryer is just not dump everything in the basket. You need to spread it out evenly like I did there and crank that thing up and let it go. I also had some baby's legs mushrooms. There's a real name for these, but I can't remember what it is. But they're really, really good. And they kind of, some people use them as a noodle substitute, but I ended up sauteing those in a pan for a little while. And they're pretty good. They're not too bad. They pretty well take on whatever flavor you put into it. So I ended up putting some salt and pepper and then a couple of different spices and seasonings that I had and just let those saute for a little while. And then after a while, they kind of wilt down a little bit and turn into like almost like a noodly consistency. But they were pretty good. And about that time, that's whenever the carrots and the lotus root were done cooking up. And this is probably my favorite way to eat vegetables, is to air fry them. Raw vegetables are always good, but if you can enhance them with some heat blasted air, then why not? And I served those up with some sriracha mayo, and it turned out really good. I was happy with that. I ended up making some more of them the next day. So I thought the snow was finally gone, and I think I say that every week, and then we get a little bit more snow. This time it was just rain and flurries of snow, so not any snow that actually stuck to the ground, but still it's a testament to how cold it still is here, that it's cold enough to actually make snow flurries. So later in the week I had to go to a going away for one of our co-workers, and I always had to walk through the village whenever I go through there. And the place we went to was on top of a building, so it's nice to be able to sneak up to the top and kind of take a video out over the area that we're in. You can see all the lights kind of reflecting off the haze that was in the air. So yeah, the next morning I woke up and it was even worse of a haze. You can't even hardly see the mountains off in the distance. And that's usually my indicator for how thick the air is that day. And besides being nasty air conditions, it was also pretty cold. But this was the day after we had gone to the going away, so I had parked my car closer to the place that we went to. And in South Korea, if you have anything to drink, the limit is far lower than what it is in the United States, so I don't play around with it at all. So I left my car, and it's about a mile walk back to it. But it was a nice brisk morning walk to get there, and as you can see, I was wearing a mask, dual purpose, to keep out the cold, but also just because the pollutants in the air are so bad, I really don't need any more of that in my lungs. They're already bad enough, so I'm trying to protect them as much as possible. But this is what it looked like on the way back to where I was going to. And finally made it back to my car and decided to go back and tidy up my place a little bit. Had my Valentine's decorations left over, so I decided to pull them off of the door and then try to been cleaning one room every week. And this week was the bathroom's turn to be cleaned, so made sure to sweep up. And it's amazing how much dust accumulates here and how quickly it does. So there's only really 4 main rooms here, so about 4 months worth of dust collected there, maybe 3 months. But got it all cleaned up. Looks nice again. After I got done cleaning, I took a look at one of my plants that I had that I accidentally killed, but I think it was plotting to kill me also, so I just got to it first. Realized that it's probably gone, and that I probably need to go to the nursery and find a suitable replacement for it. So I took the long journey I say long journey, but it's about 10 minutes down the road, took the journey to the nursery that I typically go to, and whenever I got there, the lady recognized me immediately as the sucker who always pays whatever price she mentions and doesn't haggle at all. So I probably got swindled again, but I ended up getting some cool plants. I always like to go see what else they got, anything new in there. And I always want to find a fruit tree, but they only had one fruit tree in there, and it was a grapefruit tree, and it looked pretty puny. It wasn't doing too great. So I looked around a little bit more to see what they had, and it looked like they got a whole new crop of succulents, but I didn't really want a succulent, wanted something a little bit bigger. So kept looking around, and most of the stuff they had was the same, but they got a few new things in there. But I finally ended up finding this rosemary, and so I found this cool pot to put it in. And the lady at the place, like I said, usually tells me one price, and I think she feels bad for overcharging me for whatever it is, so she always pots it up for me and puts some soil in there, some fresh soil, and a little decorative rocks and things like that. And so this time she did the same for me. Still kind of cold this week, so I decided I was going to go ahead and make a pot roast. Dad had sent me some seasonings, and I had some meat left over. And like I said, trying to use up everything in my fridge, so I had some of those carrots left over from earlier in the week, and I had to go out and get an onion and chopped all that up. And I meant to put potatoes in there, but potatoes are very, very expensive out here, so sometimes I forgo a little bit of luxury of potato and just add some extra carrot in there. But so I browned the meat first and stirred up the mix for the crock pot and set that all in the crock pot and dumped all the ingredients in there and put it on low. And this is about 4 or 5 hours ago at the time of this video is being filmed, so unfortunately you won't get to see the ending to it, or maybe I will video it and put it in the next video. But yeah, it's already smelling really good. While that was cooking, I decided to finally put this together. My sister had sent me this. It's basically a crystal aquarium that you can grow crystals inside of. And so I decided to finally put it together. And I was thinking it would take weeks, but apparently it's only supposed to take a couple of hours to grow using this grow solution that's in there. So I decided to put it all together and see what I could grow. They put instructions in there, but I'm not really sure what they say because I didn't learn how to read ever. But I'm assuming you just crush these things up and you put them in the bottom of the tank and add the solution in there, which I had to mix the solution in a Pringles can because there was warning signs all over it, and I'm assuming they're saying don't drink this stuff or let it touch your eyes or your hands. So I didn't want to mix it in a bowl that I use because I didn't want to mix food in it later, then you get some weird disease or something from the solution. So decided to go against that. Now you're supposed to space these crystals evenly apart from each other, but not touching. So I used a chopstick to kind of move everything around a little bit and space them just right. And then I took a little time lapse of them actually growing here. And it's pretty cool. They're actually growing quicker than I thought they would. So hopefully they'll be worth millions of dollars once they finally grow into their full form, and I can really cash out and pad my retirement. So that'd be great. So thanks to my sister for sending those over. I appreciate it. And then I finished up today just doing a little bit of drawing, still working on that, getting a little bit better at it each time, but it's a good, fun hobby to have. So thanks everybody for watching. That's all I got this week. I hope everybody's doing good, and God bless.